Japan is facing a series of significant challenges, and among them, one issue stands out prominently: a deepening demographic crisis. Take a look at this headline. Japan's population sees a decline of nearly 800,000, with drops recorded in every prefecture for the first time. Despite a 10% increase in foreign residents over the past 14 years, Japan's native population has been consistently decreasing annually. Shockingly, projections indicate that in the next 4 decades, Japan could lose a staggering 40 million inhabitants. That's an average decline of 1 million people per year. As if that's not enough, the population will also age considerably during this period. Now, you might be wondering, but Josh, how does all of this connect with the title of our video about the Japanese self-defense forces? Well, the truth is, this demographic crisis isn't limited to just one aspect of Japan. It ripples across the economic, political, and even military spheres. Analysts suggest that the looming demographic decline, not only in Asia but also in much of the developed world, could usher in an era of what some term as forced peace or the geriatric peace. These experts propose that the aging population could bring about a new geopolitical stability, especially as both China and Russia grapple with their own significant demographic challenges. So let's explore how this demographic puzzle intertwines with Japan's self-defense forces. This theory suggests that with fewer young people available in the labor force, the priority will shift towards sustaining the welfare system by focusing on those contributing to the productive economy. It's important to note that in aging populations, there's a significant spike in health and dependency costs, and someone has to bear that burden. This theory posits that with fewer young individuals both available and willing to join the armed forces or undertake military service, countries may become more hesitant to pursue aggressive actions, leaning instead towards diplomatic resolutions. Now, does this theory hold true everywhere? Well, it might in some places. However, it's crucial to acknowledge that, at this point, we won't be taking a stance in favor or against this theory. Now, in Japan, where the percentage of elderly people is the highest, they don't seem to fully embrace this theory either. Wondering why? Stick around, as in this video, we'll delve into how Japan's self-defense forces plan to strengthen themselves in a period when there will be a notable shortage of troops. Enter Japan's techno-army, a strategy centered on fewer men but more machines. Let's explore how this innovative approach could reshape the landscape of Japan's defense forces. Let's take a close look at this graph. Contrary to expectations, Japan's military spending, particularly since 2017, has been on a continuous rise. In 2020, it hit 1% of GDP for the first time since the late 1950s, and the trajectory suggests it's only going up. Japan has ambitious plans to elevate its military spending to approximately 2% of GDP by 2027, aligning with the NATO standard. Now, considering Japan's substantial economy, we're talking about a significant increase, roughly $40 to $50 billion more in military spending annually in the medium term. This move positions Japan's self-defense forces to become the third largest globally in terms of budget. This military investment challenges the notion that demographic aging will inevitably lead to a diminished armed forces presence. In fact, it could result in the opposite. The answer lies in Japan's approach. The anticipated shortage of personnel in the armed forces is set to be addressed by a significant investment in technology and machines, a shift that comes with a hefty price tag. To put it into perspective, Japan plans to allocate around $321 billion between 2023 and 2027 for this purpose. It's a substantial financial commitment. The objective, outlined in Japan's latest National Defense Strategy from 2022, is to create a military with fewer personnel but significantly higher lethality. In simpler terms, Japan aims to transform its conventional military into one comprised of elite units, well-trained, impeccably equipped, and boasting advanced technology. Notably, this transformation is largely driven by the use of domestic technology. To achieve this transformation, the Japanese government plans to significantly increase military research and development, R&D, spending, reaching into civilian R&D domains like never before. It marks a complete paradigm shift. But why this sudden change? And what's prompting Japan to take such decisive action? Beyond the demographic challenge, the key driver is China. Japan perceives a growing vulnerability to China's expanding military capabilities and the escalating adversarial rhetoric emanating from Beijing's top leadership. This sense of vulnerability is compelling Japan to reevaluate and reinforce its defense strategies. Japan's desire for a stronger military presence extends beyond addressing its vulnerability to China. It's also a strategic move to enhance its standing not just militarily but politically in the global arena. Despite being the world's third largest economy, Japan appears to wield limited international influence. Consider this. Do you often hear Tokyo's perspective in major international discussions? Probably not. If we exclude its G7 membership, Japan's impact on the global political stage diminishes significantly. In comparison, countries like Germany or Canada, despite having smaller economies, carry more international weight. Even South Korea, emerging as a key player in defense and civilian energy sectors, rivals Japan in political influence. The Japanese government is now keen on changing this narrative. While recent steps, such as joining military alliances like the Quad, signal a reversal in this trend, more is needed. A robust and capable armed forces could prove crucial not only for bolstering international influence, but also for ensuring national security. This shift aligns with Japan's broader strategy to carve out a more prominent role on the global stage. As we've highlighted before, Beijing has rapidly modernized its military in recent years, equipping the Chinese armed forces with increasingly advanced capabilities. Some military analysts even pinpoint a potential readiness for China to invade Taiwan by 2027. In light of recent events, such as the Russian invasion of Ukraine, threats from major powers against smaller nations are being taken more seriously. For Japan, a hypothetical Chinese invasion of Taiwan poses significant challenges. It would not only leave its southwestern islands more exposed to Beijing, but also have severe economic consequences. Taiwan plays a pivotal role in Japan's tech supply chain, producing many semiconductors and advanced technology crucial for Japanese industry. Numerous Japanese companies have direct manufacturing operations on the island. If this supply chain were disrupted, the impact on the Japanese economy could be devastating. Additionally, the ongoing threat from North Korea, capable of launching nuclear-capable missiles targeting any part of Japan, remains a critical concern that cannot be overlooked. These geopolitical realities are compelling Japan to fortify its defense capabilities in the face of evolving regional challenges. Hold on, because if you thought this video was just about Japan acquiring more advanced weaponry, you're in for a surprise. Japan's vision for transforming its armed forces goes far beyond merely upgrading its arsenal. A case in point is the 2023 Defense Technology Guideline recently released by the Japanese Ministry of Defense. This document is a game changer, reshaping how the armed forces collaborate with the private sector, universities, and even the government itself. Brace yourselves, because what we're about to reveal is bound to astonish many. Get ready to explore how Japan aims not just to enhance its military capabilities, but to become one of the world's most innovative countries in defense. Introducing Beta Force. Now it's no secret that the Japanese armed forces face significant capability challenges. The aftermath of World War II, marked by the fall of the Japanese Empire and the U.S. dropping atomic bombs to secure surrender, left the nation deeply scared. Once a militarist and imperialist regime responsible for widespread destruction and loss of life across half of Asia, Japan underwent a radical transformation into one of the most pacifist countries on the planet. For years, defense investment took a backseat, with a majority of the Japanese population opposing increased spending on military endeavors, a sentiment rooted in the nation's traumatic past. In the early 2010s, only a quarter of the population supported augmenting defense spending. Fast forward to today, and that figure has skyrocketed to over 60%. In just a decade, from sushi to guided missiles, Japanese preferences have undergone a dramatic shift. The emergence of Beta Force signals a transformative phase for Japan's defense capabilities. Now, the challenge lies in translating the increased budget into tangible results, and the government of Fumio Kishida, with familial ties to Hiroshima, the most pacifist and anti-militarist city in Japan, has charted an unconventional path: the techno-army. Traditionally, Japan focused on developing its own conventional weaponry: tanks, ships, and combat aircraft. However, its most immediate threat, China, has been actively investing in unconventional and highly technological weapons. This includes directed energy weapons like lasers, electromagnetic weapons, railguns, and an array of drones. China's Navy is even testing the most powerful coil gun ever constructed, which could revolutionize the nature of warfare with more devastating attacks on enemy targets. The techno-army represents Japan's response to the evolving landscape of military technology and the need to adapt to unconventional threats. The reality is that, coupled with the increasingly assertive rhetoric from the Chinese regime, the Japanese have come to the realization that, if the current trajectory persists, they might soon find themselves ill-equipped to counter potential aggression from Beijing. Moreover, defending their regional interests, including scenarios like Taiwan, could become increasingly challenging, with their deterrent capabilities diminished. So, what solution has Tokyo proposed? Essentially, Japan aims to leverage one of its inherent strengths as a nation by initiating research and development into new types of weaponry. However, this is not business as usual. In the past, the self-defense forces would communicate their required capabilities to the Ministry of Defense, which in turn would study preferred weapons and commission private contractors for development and manufacturing. The new approach involves a significant departure from this traditional process, reflecting a proactive shift to enhance Japan's defense capabilities against evolving threats in the region. For years, the defense industry adhered to a process known as the waterfall model. In this approach, prototypes were meticulously built, subjected to extensive testing and improvement, until the final model was achieved. Subsequently, the approved model had to undergo certification by the Ministry of Defense before being deemed operational. However, this entire process could span between 10 to 20 years, with many emerging technologies left out by the time the weapon became operational. Take, for instance, the Type 90 tank, a weapon that took the self-defense forces a staggering 13 years from request to deployment. Essentially, under this production design model, the end result often turned out to be an outdated product, or at least one that was no longer at the cutting edge of the military industry. This is the crux of the waterfall model, a design and development approach that Japan is now looking to overhaul. The Ministry of Defense in Japan is on a mission to dismantle the waterfall model once and for all. How? Brace yourselves, as the proposed solution may surprise some and even shock others. The key is to promote the fusion of military research and development, R&D, with civilian R&D, or at least that's the practical proposal on the table. Now, some might draw parallels with China's approach, and to some extent, they would be right. However, as is often the case, the devil is in the details. The nuances in Japan's strategy set it apart, making this integration a unique and significant step in transforming its defense capabilities. Over the next decade, Japan envisions a collaboration where private companies with an R&D component, along with universities, will join forces with public research institutions and agencies, both civilian and military, including the Ministry of Defense itself. The goal is to have these entities working side by side. This collaborative effort aims to swiftly integrate the most advanced civilian technologies, such as cutting-edge drones, artificial intelligence, and various big data analysis software, into military applications. The ultimate objective is twofold: to achieve technological superiority and simultaneously minimize the human resources required for military operations. In simpler terms, the plan is to introduce more machines onto the battlefield, reducing the reliance on human personnel. This strategic shift aligns with Japan's goal of enhancing its defense capabilities and staying ahead in the realm of military technology. Japan is taking significant steps in this direction, evident in the launch of a defense tech research agency and the advancement of projects like the railgun. This approach brings forth both advantages and disadvantages. On the positive side, in the face of an aging and decreasing population, Japan has the potential to maintain and even enhance its defense capabilities, challenging the previously conceived notion under the geriatric peace theory. Another advantage is the potential reduction in the number of Japanese lives at risk in the event of a conflict. However, these initiatives come with their share of disadvantages. Foremost is the considerable cost involved. Developing a military with these advanced capabilities is a substantial investment, with a significant portion of the $321 billion military spending allocated until 2027 likely to be consumed by these endeavors. While the advantages promise improved defense resilience and reduced human risk, the financial burden is a significant factor that Japan needs to navigate in pursuit of its defense transformation. The second potential disadvantage revolves around the desensitization and dehumanization of war. There's a concern that the pursuit of more advanced and autonomous military technologies could lead to a scenario where conflicts result in increased civilian casualties and more devastating wars. It's a possible outcome that contrasts with the intended goals of enhancing defense capabilities and minimizing human risks. Now, is all of this realistic? It might seem like a blockbuster plot to some, given the absence of more concrete plans. However, the guidelines put forth by Japan's Ministry of Defense are indeed serious, indicating a clear direction for the country's armed forces in the coming decades. One of the central tenets of this new strategy is the abandonment of the waterfall model of weapons development, signaling a commitment to a more agile and collaborative approach to stay at the forefront of military technology. Under this new approach, weapons developed through joint efforts of the defense industry and the civilian sector would enter operational use within the self-defense forces at the prototype stage. As soon as these prototypes demonstrated real combat functionalities, they would be deployed and utilized. Subsequently, reports and feedback from the armed forces would be leveraged to enhance and refine these prototypes over the years until they evolve into fully functional, mature products. This signifies a shift towards a system of continuous development, essentially rendering the armed forces in a constant beta phase, a dynamic approach aimed at staying adaptable and at the forefront of technological advancements. The sense of urgency stems from the realization that China is rapidly narrowing the gap in military technology. Japan believes it's imperative to act swiftly to maintain its deterrence and combat capabilities. In addition to this, the new plan emphasizes that all new weaponry developed by Japan should adhere to NATO standards. This is intended to enhance interoperability with its allies and streamline the export of newly developed weaponry. For a glimpse of what Japan envisions under this new scheme, consider the ongoing efforts to improve the railgun, already tested on a ship. Beyond that, Japan is exploring the development of a range of unconventional unmanned and even autonomous weapons. These cutting-edge weapons would be ultra-connected, leveraging networks like 5G, allowing them to be operated from thousands of kilometers away. The incorporation of these advanced technologies aims to exploit the low latency of these networks, signaling a futuristic direction for Japan's defense capabilities. Japan is delving into even more advanced weaponry. One of the initial projects in the pipeline is a high-power microwave system, not the kind you use to cook dinner, but a directed energy weapon. This system is specifically designed to counter saturation drone attacks, reflecting the strategic move to address evolving threats. Additionally, there is a focus on prioritizing unconventional types of energy to power these weapons and the development of new materials with superior properties. The guidelines hint at the pursuit of materials that not only offer increased strength, but also possess a perfect microstructure, potentially capable of self-regeneration. This emphasis on cutting-edge materials underscores Japan's commitment to pushing the boundaries of technological innovation in its defense capabilities. Japan's vision for the future extends beyond conventional offensive weaponry. They're exploring the use of less conventional, yet highly impactful tools. One intriguing example is the development of systems designed for spreading false information. Yes, you listened that correctly. A sophisticated approach to the age-old concept of fake news, elevated to another level. Here's the breakdown. Leveraging artificial intelligence, the metaverse, advanced deepfake technologies, and even stereoscopic holograms, Japan aims to deceive both on and off the battlefield. The goal is to disperse information that makes people believe in things that aren't true, ultimately gaining a strategic advantage in the event of a conflict. This reflects a strategic move to exploit cutting-edge technologies, not just in the physical domain, but also in the realm of information warfare. The visionary approach doesn't stop there. The guidelines even discuss the possibility of projecting objects as if they were real. While these technologies have varying degrees of use in the civilian sector, Japan's military aims to adapt, and maximize their potential, transforming them into weapons for strategic advantage. Now, it might sound a bit outlandish to some, and that's entirely understandable. However, it's crucial to note that everything we've shared is outlined in the new Defense Technology Guideline from Japan. So, yes, this is indeed what Japan envisions for its future defense capabilities. The burning question is, will they succeed? Can Japan's armed forces become futuristic, ultra-connected, and super-mechanized? Only time will tell, and rest assured, we'll be keeping you updated here on this channel. Feel free to share your thoughts and opinions on what we've discussed in the comments below. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching. All the best, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.